So this is David from Switchaboo. I'm here with Tina from Cotton Candy Cyanide. And you developed the team from Melbourne?
No. So we're originally from the Gold Coast, but at the moment we're located in Osaka.
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. So they have a visual novel coming out called Quantum Suicide. It's a visual novel set in space.
Yeah.
Tell us more about it.
Okay, so in Quantum Suicide, you get to pick whether you want to play as a boy or a girl, and you're in a spaceship that is multi-generational. So you're born on the ship, you'll die on the ship, and you're supposed to, like, a part of the mission is that you're supposed to court and romance a character, and then procreate and pass your skill set on. However, after a ship's taken damage, the AI system has glitched and is now making you play a game against the crew every week to determine a loser, and then that loser is executed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I said it's a bit like Danganronpa-ish.
Yes.
But also, when I looked at the Kickstarter, I also noticed that there was some Ever 17 Zero Escape type feels.
The reason why this actually started being made was I had just finished playing the Danganronpa series and the Zero Escape series.
Yeah.
And then I tried to Google games of similar kind of content and themes, and I couldn't find any.
Oh,
So I got really sad, and then I was like, well, I can either be sad or I can fix the problem. And that's how I started making Quantum Suicide. It's just because I wanted another title, like, similar.
So what is it about those games that you wanted to sort of convey to other people? Like, what was it that captured you in the first instance?
I really, really enjoy like the kind of puzzles and the Butsu game elements. So I really enjoy that, like, you're playing a game, but it'll cost you your life if you do it wrong.
So
like,
high stakes.
Yeah,
type
I enjoy
stuff.
the high stakes, and I enjoy, like, also getting really attached to characters, and then because you know they might die, you kind of like, I need every minute with them, and then if they do die, you're like, no.
No.
So yeah, I just like really getting emotionally attached to characters and then having them killed.
Yeah. Oh man, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
So now in Quantum Suicide, you can find that you have relationships with both males and females.
Yeah.
It's actually quite unusual for a visual novel, but you do see it in games like Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Can you comment on this? What's your response to it? People's responses to it?
So the way that it is laid out is that you actually at the beginning of the game pick whether you want to play as a boy or a girl, and then there's 7 quotable options in the game. So we have 3 men, 3 women, and the AI system herself. But they actually all have their own sexual preference, and depending on whether you picked a boy or a girl will depend on how they will react with you. And so whether they're likely to try and save you in games, like if they're romantically interested, or if they're happy to throw you out of like an airlock.
Right.
And so it was kind of more so to do with kind of navigating relationships, because I love otome games and like dating games, but I really hate that you know that there is a way to win. Like if I really want that person, I can have them no matter what. I just got to say the right things.
Yeah.
Whereas I really like the idea of being friend zoned, because that's how it works in real
Wow,
life. Like,
okay, so
you can get to the end of the game. You can like solve all the problems. You can confess your love to the person you love that's still alive, and they can be like, I like you as a friend.
Oh wow, that's very unusual for a visual novel.
Yes. Some people have not been very happy with that. They're like, I should be allowed to, have the person I want. And I'm like, but that's not how it works.
Yeah,
Like,
that's not real life.
Yeah, no, the character is a character in themselves, and I feel like they have to have their own bit of agency. That if they're not interested in you, I don't care what you say. Like, you're not getting that.
That's an incredibly unique take on visual novel.
Yeah.
You don't see that like in any visual novel that I know of.
No, So some people have not received it well, but I'm just like, oh, this is another situation where you're not going to get what you want because I'm not changing it.
Who cares about what other people want? This is your visual novel, and you can do what you like.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that a lot of people will appreciate is actually that there's full voice acting in Japanese native for this. So can you talk a little bit about the voice actors and sort of what's going on from that aspect of things?
Yeah, so when we first started, we were like, we want it in English but with Japanese voice acting, because obviously as Australians we're very much dubs versus subs.
Yep.
So we're like, that's going to be great. But then once we kind of did the Kickstarter and got a bit of an American following, they were like, we want English voice acting. So what happens is now we have actually both. We have English voice acting and Japanese voice acting.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's fully both. So the Japanese voice actors are all professional voice actors from a Japanese website that does voice acting. So I send scripts and then kind of give a bit of direction, and then they send me all the files, and I cut and do the sound engineering kind of thing on this side. And the same with the Americans, because obviously I'm not in America. So I've found and hired like a whole bunch of American voice actors, and then they all send me their files, and I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so that way, when you play the game, you can pick whichever one you want. So you can read it in English or Japanese, and hear it in English or Japanese. It's all your choice.
Wow, that's incredible. Like voice acting, and especially since you're doing a lot of this stuff remotely by the sounds of it, that actually sounds like it's very tricky because you got voice actors doing different scenes, but they're not next to each other when they're doing
Yes.
those scenes.
Yes.
So was that hard for you guys?
Yeah,
Was
so sometimes it's a bit hard, but what I do is I give them the full script, so they can actually read through and see the kind of feeling of the scene. And then a lot of the times they will record a line a few ways for me. Each line is recorded a few ways, and then I can pick the one I like. But if I don't, I can actually contact them and just tell them how I want it to sound, and they will just re-record it and send it to me. So all of my voice actors have been absolutely delightful.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible. Are there any big names that we know, or smaller indie
Yeah, I think
voice actors?
yeah, smaller. But I think if you actually have a go at it and you listen to it, you'll be quite happy. Like I feel like I've tried really hard to have like a very high production quality kind of level, and that is also with the voice acting.
Yeah.
So I've only picked the best, like John West.
I look forward to playing the game with English subtitles and Japanese voices.
Awesome.
That would be, I'm a very sub person.
Yeah,
so are you subbed or dubbed?
I'm sorry.
Subbed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we actually talked to the guys who are doing the game Necrobrista, and it's really cool to see that so many visual novels now are coming up in the West.
Yes.
So do you have any comments about how this visual novel scene as it currently is? We were discussing about Telltale before.
Yeah. So I think as a community as a whole, like we're absolutely delightful. Like everyone that I've met that does, like for example Necrobrista with like Route 59 guys, like everyone is so committed. I've met like the people behind like Long Live the Queen and stuff like that, and they're all really great as well. And just the communities we have, like there's very little any kind of toxicity really in the community. It's so wonderful. Like Quantum Suicide had to get put on production hold for almost a year with no date for a pickup again. But everyone was so supportive, and they were all just like sending their best wishes and asking if there's anything to do to help. And it was just mind blowing how wonderful the community is. So I think we're only going to get bigger. Like we're so welcoming, and everyone's so happy just to be here. So
that's actually one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, that community that you guys have built. Because I understand that you guys did a Kickstarter.
Yes.
Initially, that Kickstarter didn't do so well, but then the second Kickstarter really did well. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so we made the mistake of launching our Kickstarter in December the first time, and then so it actually finished a few days before Christmas, and of course when the Kickstarter ends, that's when everyone has to pay their money, and so people just were not in a position to be able to, so that was completely, that was a logistical mistake on my end. So anyway, we had gotten about I think 700 people following the game at that point, and we had not done any kind of anything. Like I don't have any previous games. So I just pretty much went out there and went, "Love me, please." And then so we got actually quite a bit of a following from the first Kickstarter, and so people were like, "Please try again." And so I was like, "Look, we'll give it a month. I'll come back with a new page, an updated page. I'll get a few more extra add-ons because people were like, I want more merchandise." And I'm like, "What? Like why? Like there's not even a game that exists yet. How do you want merchandise?" And it was absolutely mind-blowing what people really wanted. So it came back a month later. All of our backers from the first Kickstarter that failed came back, and we were funded within the first 2 days, I think. Because we had so many people just influx. And so the first Kickstarter we fell short. We were looking for $30,000 and we came at about 25. But the second Kickstarter, along with the PayPal donations that were open, we made about 70,000.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so everyone came back in droves, and it was just amazing.
What was your first reaction? Were you absolutely touched by it?
As soon as it actually clicked over and was congratulations, you've made the actual minimum, and from now on, I cried my eyes out. I cried everywhere, and then I even drew a really terrible picture of what it looked like of me crying that I then put up as an update. And people were like, please tell me you are not doing any of the art in this game, because and then it was absolutely it was amazing.
That's incredible. I'm glad that it's well funded. It sounds like you guys went from obstacle and then success. So very much like the characters in your game, I imagine.
If they live that long.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the story of the game itself? So are we expecting big amounts of romance, horror, comedy? What sort of game is it?
It's like a psychological thriller, but it has a lot. It is very lighthearted in places. I enjoy that. Even in bad situations, you need to have a sense of humor. So there's a lot of kind of one-liners here and there that should, I hope, make you chuckle. Even when things are getting really tense, and then someone says something for example, there are times that the AI system is telling you that we're going to kill everyone's going to die, your friends already died, kind of thing. and then she'll be like, you know, I was lonely or something, and then one of the characters is like, oh, but you have us as friends now, because he's just so oblivious and he's so kind that he forgets that she's murdering everyone. It's like, no, I'll be your friend. And then one of the other characters is just like backhanding them. He's like,
no.
What are you in this moment? So so just kind of things like that, where like even when it gets super tense, I try to kind of break it a bit every now and then. Because
that sounds great. Like, sounds like it's gonna be heavy but lighthearted at the same time.
Like, I don't want you to just like be taken like away and just being like sad. I want you to, like, even if things go wrong, I still want you to kind of see the happiness that can still happen. Like, even if you are gonna die and you've only got a few like hours, like, might as well crack a joke. What's the worst that's gonna come? Nothing. We've already been
nothing but
death.
Or do they really die? I mean, it's quantum suicide, right? So do they die or do they not?
You have to play the game to find out.
Are there big elements of like science into the plot, like in terms of quantum physics and that sort of thing?
So in
that's spoiling, of course.
In the actual game, I have like a tablet computer kind of system where you can actually go and look up things. So I've got very simple explanations of things such as, like, you know, what an event horizon is, what time dilation is and stuff, because that all kind of plays a part in the storyline of it. And so I've tried really to make it very accessible and kind of understandable. So
so the people that have played Steins Gate, for example, will love this sort of stuff, right?
Because I really enjoy, like, for example, in the Virtue's Last Reward and like Zero Escape games, like all of that is actually based on real science. Like, you can look up the people that they're saying, like they have actual like accredited like academic papers and stuff, and like, so I really like the idea of taking a narrative and a fictional narrative, but basing it off like possibilities that could actually happen, like in science theories. So
that's amazing.
So I've read a lot.
Was it hard to like understand all the scientific concepts?
Some of it's a bit harder to access. So I'm just looking at like the teaching like primary school children like quantum mechanics. I'm like, yes.
So in terms of the music style, can you tell us a little bit about that? I noticed that the OP, for example, did have Vocaloid inside of it. So
So the game itself has an original soundtrack of I think 12 titles. So we've got some piano pieces for like the opening and closing, as well as like atmospheric and kind of sci-fi sound music for the background. But yeah, we actually got we licensed a Servio, so very much like Vocaloid, from a Japanese artist that we just stumbled across the song, and the lyrics were like almost perfect with our game, and we were like, please, and they were like, oh my god, yes, we'd love to do your video game, and I'm like, yes. And then it was made in heaven, like, so it all just kind of comes together. So the actual soundtrack has like that, as well as I said, the piano pieces, and then also the very like more like a symphonic techno-y like sci-fi sound that is just like ambience or like tension music kind of stuff that you find in the game.
That's interesting. So it sort of verges on like gentle piano to hardcore electronic parts.
Like there is actually one song that I was like, this should be in like Crypt of the Necro Dancer. It's so like
So is there anything that you'd like to tell anyone that's watching this video?
I think you should give it a go.
So how would anyone watching this video sort of follow you guys if they wanted to keep track of this project?
The best place for us is Twitter. So we're just at Cotton Candy Cyan, and that's where we do most of our updates. But if you just go to our website at cottoncandyscyanide.com, you can find all the links to all of our social media. And
amazing. And when should we expect the game to come to Nintendo Switch?
Well, Nintendo Switch, we're currently working on the build now, so I'm fingers crossed if everything goes well. I'm hoping by the end of next year. But
next year.
But we should have Steam out within the next 6 months.
Okay, amazing. So if you like Danganronpa, if you like Zero Escape, then this is a visual novel that you'll probably also like. Thanks very much, Tina, for chatting with us.
Thank you so much.
I hope it all goes well.
Thank you so much.